Are you feeling stuck or just getting started with building in Planet Coaster 2? Well, you've came to the right place. I'll guide you step by step to create this building from start to finish. Whether you're new to Planet Coaster or just need a refresher, I've got you covered. So let's get started. So the first thing that we need to do is you want to grab your facility. It doesn't really matter which one that you go for. I'm going to use the Splash Emporium, and you can see here that it will snap nicely to the path. So we're just going to left click to pop that down. And then we want to go into our scenery pieces. Now, when you first go into scenery, it may come up with the blueprint here. You just want to go to create custom, and then you want to come over here to your building tab, and then you want to go into walls, and here is all our wall pieces. So I would like that corrugated wall piece, so I'm going to select the 4-meter wall piece. So there is two parts of the grid. You'll see that there's a left hand side and a right hand side. So if we get that as close as possible to that side, and you can see it wants to snap at the top there. Now I have auto stacking on, but if we put it off, you can see that now it just goes in really nicely. So we're just going to push that in again, and then around the back we're going to give it a little bit of space so we can do some decorating, and pop that in there by left clicking. And then to rotate a piece, we want to press Z on our keyboard, and again we just want to snap that so it is sitting nice and flush there. Now the front of the shop, we actually need, funnily enough, a shop piece. So this is a shop front, and again we just want to push that in so it's nice and snug. And then we also want to add on a little bit at the side here, but you'll notice that our grid is pretty large and I need to get this to sit in the middle. So if I take a wall piece, which is going to be my 4-meter wall piece, you can see that that sits in the middle and I cannot add the bits to the side. So what you want to do is you go to your grid size here, and you're going to change that down to 2 meters. You can change it down to 1 meter if you want more control, but for this tutorial we're going to stick with 2. However, I want this to be 3 meters instead of 4 meters. So this is a 4-meter wall, and to create 3 meters, essentially you can either get a 1-meter wall piece, which is this one, and then with auto stacking turned on, it will automatically stack up. So you've got 1, 2, 3 pieces there. However, if you're playing in franchise and money is a little bit tight, instead of putting down 3 pieces, you can just put down 2. So you'd have a 1 meter down at the bottom, and then we are just selecting that and pressing delete to get rid of them. And then you just want to have a 2-meter part at the top. So there's a 2-meter wall piece, and we're pressing Z to get that into place, and again it's just auto stacking. However, if you don't have auto stacking turned on, that's not an issue. All you have to do is press down shift, and then you can move that into place. Now this will go up in different increments. So right now my increments is set at 1 meter. So I can change this increment. I can go a lot smaller or I can go a lot bigger, but 1's quite good for me, so I'm just going to have that at 1 meter increments there. Then all I want to do is select all of this. I'm holding down shift to get the top and bottom. I'm just clicking in there. I want to duplicate it, so I'm going to press Ctrl D on my keyboard. And if you don't know the shortcuts, then don't worry about that. Come over to this button here, and it's duplicate. So there we go, I've got my piece that has been duplicated, and then I want to press Z on my keyboard to rotate it, and then that is just going to snap in there. And again, Control D, or I can press this button down here to duplicate it, and then I can just have that snap into there. Now you can see here, it doesn't want to snap, and we just have to rotate this piece around. Sometimes it's a little bit funny like that, so now we have that rotated round like so. And you'll notice here, I need this bit up at the top as well. This is another 2-meter selection. With this one here, which we know is 2 meter, or if you just want to go back and find the 2 meters, which is there, we want to then put that onto this building here. Now, to get that onto there, because we don't have our auto stacking turned on, again, we just have to either turn it on and get that to snap into position, turn that around and get that put there. And then from this front bit, we actually want to make it curved, just to give it a little bit more design. So we're going to select this curved bit, and we want that to snap there. So we'll go and press Z so it snaps to the front. And then, oh, we've made a mistake. I actually want that back bit to be curved. You can just select it and go over here to the delete button. So then I'm going to select this one here, and then Control D, or again, we can go to duplicate, and then we're just going to push that to the back there. Now, I have decided that I do want to have this as a slanted roof. So I'm going to select here, which is 2-meter wall piece, and then you can see that is going to auto stack there, which is looking really good. And I also want to put in the roof pieces. However, before I do that, I have noticed that my windows here are very, very small and there's not going to be enough room to put my windows in here. So what I think I should do is select all this by holding down shift, and I'm selecting everything that I need all the way around the building, and then I want to move it, and I'm going to either hit this button over here, which is move, or M on your keyboard, and then I'm thinking I need to drop this down, or I can make it a lot smaller by putting it here. Even though I'm now clipping into the building, I think it's going to make it look a lot better, so I'm just going to clip that into there. And don't panic, because I know when you look at this side you think, oh no, it's going to go into my shop. And yes, you will be absolutely correct. It does in fact go into your shop. So when we open up the shop, where is our lovely vendor here, you'll see that we do have that wall piece there. And that's not really ideal. However, you can actually come into your building again. If you have completely come out of it, just select your building, go to edit building, and then this bit here that is now in the shop, you want to hold down shift to select both of them, and then we want to delete them. So we're just going to go to that delete button there. Now you might be thinking, oh no, I don't have a 2 meter grid piece, and that's absolutely correct. But what we can do is we can go away and get an off the grid piece. Now this is a bit crazy, but it does work, trust me. To go off grid, you will see that you have these pieces here which don't have the grid bit in. So we're looking for a half, which is this one here. So it does not select the grid. Now to get that to slide into position, we want to do advanced move, which is X on your keyboard. Now you can see that this can move on any axis, and what we want to do is we want to just move this in so it is sitting on there, and then we're just going to drag this down so it lines up really nicely, and that looks pretty much perfect to me. Press that tick button, and that is looking a lot better, and you'll notice that when we go inside the shop shell that it is not poking out. So that is how to add in these pieces which are off the grid. But now what we have to do, roofs. So we've come over here into roofs, and then we're looking for that corrugated roof piece. I need to know exactly what that is. So that's a 4x2 meter. So if we go back to our browser here, and we're looking for a 4x2 meter curve, which is that one. Again, our auto stack is turned on, but that's way too high up, so we're going to press shift to get into position, and then shift again to bring that down. And then we just need to put in another piece at the side here. So we've got that bit there, and we're going to press Z to rotate it, and then we're just going to snap that up at the top. And again, when we come down here, that should not affect our shop shell at all. And it looks really good. Okay, we are getting there. So next we're going to put in some windows. To do that, we need to go down to the decoration tab, and then go into windows, and we want to look for those little oval windows up at the top here. Now I want these into the middle, so I'm going to press Z to rotate it, and you can see here that it is turned to stick onto surface, and it is also going to align to surface. So if these weren't aligned to surface, if we just turn that off, you can see here it's not going to snap. So you want to make sure that stick to surface is turned on and align to surface is turned on. If I press F on my keyboard, it is going to snap it. So there we go. So I can press to click in there, F on that side to click into there. Now I want one into the middle. So to do that, I'm going to press Control D, and again, you can go over here to duplicate it. You can also advance duplicate it. So if I press that, that brings up my little gadget here, and then I can eyeball it and move it into position. But a really cool feature, which is new, is that once I select it and I've got my advanced duplicate on, this snap distance under the advanced move, you can actually put that into different increments. So now you can see that is changing. So if I go up to 2 meter increments, this bit at the middle will snap to 2 meter increments, which is really, really cool. And I actually love this feature. I've been using it so much. So we'll just pop that into place there. And again, we want to put in a window piece at the bottom. So we will just select this one here. We'll just take that snapping off, and we'll just go to the advanced move bit, and we'll just turn that off, and then press F, and that gets it into the middle. Now I think, oh my days, that window is absolutely massive. So if I select my window here, and I've already placed it, I can press down X, and that's going to bring up all of my little gizmos. If I press X again, it's going to circle through all of the different options. So I want it to land onto this one. So this is our scale tool. Again, if you don't want to press the X, you can just come up here and press that button there. Then I can then either move this out to make it bigger or in to make it smaller. So let's go for maybe like 84 looks good. If you're really pernicky and you think, nope, I definitely want it at 85, you can come in here and type in 85 and that's going to make it snap like that. Next thing, because you may have noticed that this does not match this. So I want to go away and change all of this to a nice teal colour. That is what I want. So I'm just going to go around the whole entire building and I am holding down Shift to select absolutely everything. I have got all the corrugated pieces here and then I go up to my colour slot here. So this is the colour that I want, which is this nice teal colour, and then you have to press confirm. If you do not press confirm, it's not going to work. So again, I'll show you that with the roof pieces. So we're holding down Shift to select everything. And say if you've maybe selected that window by accident and you think, oh, I don't need that window, I don't want to change that colour, then come back onto here and press Control and that deselects it. So now when we're going to come up to our slot 1 and I want to change it to this dark teal colour, if I just click off of it, it's not going to change that colour. So you have to click onto the colour and then confirm to change it. Let's move on to prop pieces, which is my favourite thing to do. I want to just filter out all of the aquatic props. So I'm going to go into scenery theme here and aquatic theme. So that's all my aquatic props. And then I'm going to go to this and it's just going to give me 326 items, which is to do with the aquatic props. And I can just scroll through here and see if there's anything that I want to add. So the front of the building, we have this nice awning I can add to my building. So I can press F to get that into position. And then looking at that, I think, hey, why is the bit at the side missing? So I can select it and press X on my keyboard. That's going to bring up my advanced move. And then I'm just going to move that out by eyeballing it and put that into place. And then I think, oh, this shop bit is really cool as well. Hold down Shift to get it into position. And then we want to add in even more decorations. So we've got the aquatic storage crate here, and we're just going to pop that down there. And then I've got this little tank, put that down there as well. And everything is stuck to the surface. And what that means is if I wanted to sink this into the ground, I can hold down Shift and I can sink it into the ground. And it is going to stay in the ground because my stick to surface is turned off. However, if I decide to turn that on, it is then going to stick to the surface. So that's a bit of an advanced tip, but I will put a link at the end of this video for all the advanced tips and tricks for you, but for just now we're just going to continue with this one. Next we need to find a anchor. I don't know where it is. There's so many pieces to look for, so I can go up to the search bar. Well, you can type in anchor, but there it is already. And I think, oh my days, that anchor is absolutely massive. I can press X on my keyboard to get that gizmo back up, and then I can circle through it and then make it a lot smaller. I can then advance move it into position, and yeah, that looks good. I also want to add in my surfboard. So if I go back to browser and if I look for surf and I think, hey, my surfboard's not there. Why is that? And that is because we have our scenery selected to aquatic. And if we take that off, you'll find that we do have the surfboards. It's just in the resort theme rather than the aquatic theme. So we'll just pop that there. Just going to rotate it ever so slightly so it's just sitting close to that building, and we're just going to move it ever so slightly back so it's not floating in mid-air, and we are going to have a look for even more items. So for example, we will want to get this bit here, and if you think, oh, what is that? But I just can't remember the name of it. Well, it's called the life ring. So when I go back into my browser, I can just paste life ring into there and it's going to come up with the piece that I want. And again, if I want that to snap to that building, I'm going to have a line to surface turned on, and you can see that is now snapping there. And then we are going to look for a couple more items. Number one thing at the back is aircon. If that is something that you want to have a little bit more realism in your park, then you can just eyeball that and put that there as well. And then at the front here, I think this is maybe like a driftwood. So I'm just typing in wood, and then I can search through this whole entire thing. But then I think, oh, that's just going to take me absolutely forever. So again, I can just select that, and it's actually called shipwreck planks. Copy that, go back into my browser, find it, there we go. Press Z to rotate it, so it's going to be in the middle. So that looks good. So next we want to type in this text. So if you go into props here and then signs and advertising and then miscellaneous signs, you can see here you have two options. So we want ours to go there. That's a little bit too big for me. So I'm going to press X on my keyboard and I'm going to circle through to the one that's a little bit smaller. That looks good. So I can pop that down there. And then I just select this and then I can just change it here to splash, just type in that word there. And then I can change the colour of it as well. I think I went for maybe silver. And then if I want to duplicate this down, press Ctrl D on my keyboard, or again, you can select it and press your duplicate there. And then I'll just pop that down there, go back into it. Instead of splash, we'll say zone. And then we want to add in a light. So if we return to the browser, and again, I can just type in light up here, and then we can go to all. So again, you can go away and just eyeball this if you like. Now, you may be thinking, this is looking great, Gemma, but what about the colours? The colours of this, this, and this, and this doesn't look too great. So what I'm going to do is this colour here, this like sandy colour, I really like that. So I'm just going to copy that hex code. And what I'm going to do is all the items that I want to change that colour of, I'm going to just come in here and I'm just going to paste that hex code in there. But what you'll see is, because I've already done this before, it's come up with my most recent. So I'm just going to confirm that. So if I get all these three here, so we're just going to come back. There we go, confirm, lovely. That bit at the bottom, that sandy colour there, we're just going to confirm that as well. And that looks a lot better. It looks less jarring. So next thing I want to do is add in my shop sign over here. So there we go. And then I just want to make that at a bit of an angle. And the two things we want to do is, how is our person going to get into there? Well, technically, they actually just jump over the barrier. But what I like to do is add in a door, just for a bit of realism. So we're going to come back into our buildings and then over here into decorations, and then we are going to find some doors. And I quite like the look of this one, and then that is just going to snap to that building because we have stick to surface and align to surface turned on. And again, if you hold down F, it'll place it in the middle, and if you want to advance move it, then press X on your keyboard and you can just come in and then move that down to the bottom like so. We do actually have some scenery effects, which I think just adds a little bit of more interest to your build. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into special effects here, and I can't remember off the top of my head which one it is. I think it might be a Steam one is what I picked last time. So we're just going to put the game on for a minute, and you can see that looks pretty good, to be honest. So that's the one that I want, but I do need to get this like little pipe bit. So I'm going to go back into my scenery. I'm just going to go all, and I'm just going to attempt to find it. So I've put in pipe, and this pipe here looks about right. So I'm just going to pop that up at the top. Looks a little bit big, so I'm just going to advance move and shrink that down a little bit, and then I'll just pop that into place, and then I'll get my little smoke effect, steam effect, sorry, and then we'll just move that, M on your keyboard, and then I just want to put this in here. I want to make sure that it goes down quite nicely, so I'm just going to press X on my keyboard so I can't see it. And if you want to change the colour of that, I kind of like it. I know that this one's got a different colour, but you know what? I think it looks actually quite good. Looking at both of these buildings, there's one thing that I have just noticed that is incorrect. If you can spot the difference, put it in the comments below, but I will tell you what the difference is, because that's, you know, essentially annoying. But if you go into buildings here, and I'll show you exactly what I have forgot to add. So on here, my roof bit here doesn't have this little hanging off bit, and it doesn't have it on this bit either. And it's a bit of an advanced thing. It does make your buildings look a little bit better. So if I just go to return to my browser here, so we're going to go for the corrugated one, and Z on my keyboard to rotate that, bring that down to 2 meters, and we're just going to pop that up at the top. And then I'm not entirely sure which one it is, so we're just going to see if I can get this correct. Yep, I have. And then I'm just going to select all of these here, and then I'm just going to change that to that dark colour there. It's just those little details that make builds just pop out a little bit better. I'm going to leave a link on the screen right now, and it will take you through the building menu for Planet Coaster 2, I would highly advise you check out that video as well, and I'll see you over there.